Yo, what's up, everybody? This is going to be episode 64, the Fitness Realty Podcast. I'm excited to share this information with you because I think this is going to be one of the funniest episodes we talk about. And when I say funny, it probably will be in that realm of, hey, you're probably a little old and these movies are kind of bad, but that's what it's going to be. We're going to be talking about a list of movies that used to be great, and we think that they were amazing. And now when we share them with our kids, when we rewatch them, we're like, what were we thinking, right? And I'm sure you guys have had this discussion when you're talking with your friends and you're like, oh, I love this movie and it's just one of those cult classics. It's amazing. We love it. And then you show somebody else, and while you're watching it, you're watching them and you're watching their expressions and you're like, that was the funny part. You were supposed to laugh. And then they kind of look around like, no, that was stupid. This movie is not good. So I want to kind of talk to you guys about this list and see if you guys have similar movies that you would put on this list. And so here we go. I'm going to share my first couple with you. So one of the first ones that I watched with my kids, and it was called The Last Unicorn. So it is an animated film. And when I was younger, when we watched it, and I think my parents actually showed it to us, and we thought it was pretty good. And at that time when I was a kid, I thought it was good. Had a great story, seemed like it moved pretty well. And then when I showed it to my kids, you know, after they've really grown up in the age of like, all the Avenger movies, all of the just CGI, everything that you could build into movies now, they're used to that. So when I showed them The Last Unicorn, they were literally like, what are you showing us? This is a terrible movie. And then while I was rewatching it as well, I was like looking at my watch, you know, or looking at my phone. I was thinking to myself, this movie just moves super slow. It's terrible. What is happening? And so Last Unicorn, I don't know if you guys feel the same way about that movie as I do, but let me know if you guys think that that movie was great and now it's bad, or maybe you guys hated it altogether. All right, next video or next movie I think is The Flight of the Navigator. So I don't know if you guys have watched that movie. It's where a little kid kind of has an alien experience, and this ship comes, and then he goes into the ship and flies around. And as a kid, I was like, this is a fun movie. He gets to fly around in this cool ship. Amazing. But when I went to rewatch it, I was like, this story is horrible. And then it moved so slow. I figured they could have actually shown this movie, diced it up in about 2-minute segments and made a 10-minute movie out of it. And it probably would have been just as good. I don't mean to like say that as, hey, I don't want to dog on these guys that made a movie, you know, because it was a long time ago. So I'm not saying that. Those guys did a great job. But when you're watching it with today's audience, in today's quality of what people want from a movie, it just doesn't match up. So let me know. Do you guys think that that's a classic, and maybe you watch it every, maybe every Father's Day you watch it with your dad or something? I don't know. What do you guys do with that movie? I'm going to have a lot of people be pissed off right here. So a lot of the old Star Wars, it's in this category. I'm sorry. I'm a Star Wars junkie. I love Star Wars just like everybody else. But the old Star Wars moves so slow. The CGI, yeah, obviously it was kind of old. Even the remakes got a lot better, but still, it's just not to where our qualities are and standards are today. And then it just moves super slow, right? We know we need character development, but when we're watching those old movies, it just moves ultra slow. I'll give you one of the scenes that I just personally hate, in my opinion. It's when Darth Vader cuts down Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's terrible. I mean, he literally like slices him in half. He falls down. He's in a pile of robes. I don't get that. You know, like there was no good fight. Anyway, you would have thought that there would have been something amazing there. So anyway, I'm sorry, Star Wars fans. If you're a true blue, like level 10 nerd, my bad. You're going to be pissed, and, you know, to each their own. All right. Up next, Labyrinth. I'm just sorry. If you're a David Bowie fan, I love David Bowie. The music's pretty good, but Labyrinth as a movie is not good. I think if you're probably high on meth, yeah, it's probably an okay movie, you know, but other than that, I don't think it's very good quality, and it's a terrible storyline. All right, we'll leave Labyrinth. For all you guys that are Labyrinth junkies, maybe you watch it like every Saturday and you wore out the VHS. I'm not going to say anything about that. So whatever. All right. The next one is Willow. So we got about 10 minutes into Willow with our kids, and we were like, this is terrible. And we actually turned it off. So sorry about that. But Willow didn't even make the cut of us finishing the movie. It was that bad. Let's see. We had somebody actually tell us that we should watch Big with our family. Now, if you're a Tom Hanks fan, I love Tom Hanks. He's an amazing actor. Really, really good. And especially being that young in that movie. It was amazing to watch when we were a lot younger. When we went to rewatch it with our kids, though, I was literally like, this movie almost makes no sense, which is okay. I mean, it's a fantasy anyways, but it just moved ultra slow. And I don't know if you guys are seeing a theme here, right? Like, we've gotten so used to being action-packed films, just boom, 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 like over and over action, and not as much character development, right? Because I think that's kind of the style. You need a lot of action to really keep people's interest, and maybe that's just where we've gone for today's society. But I'll tell you right now, Big was just one of those movies that when we were watching it with our kids were literally looking at their phones a lot, and then me and my wife were looking at each other like, this is terrible. Like, let's scrap it. All right, I have two more. And the first one is going to be something that is, it's got a lot of great one-liners, but it's Cool Runnings. And I don't know if you're going to be sad about that on having that film on this list, but when we watched it with our kids, they just literally were asking us, why did we think this was good when we were watching it? And so I want to just share with you guys that these movies, when you show them to kids, if they start to say these things to you, that's probably one of these films. So you should probably hear what they're saying, and this film's going on one of those lists. When my kids are a little bit older, though, I want to show them a couple of bonus films, but right now I just don't think they're at an age that it would be okay to have them watch it. One of the first ones, though, that I want to show my older kids when they get a little bit older is Pulp Fiction. I think that might be a cult classic there. I think that would be kind of cool to watch with them. And then Shawshank Redemption might be a really good one to watch with them. Okay, but the last movie, this literally happened last night. I'm sitting there with my daughter, and we're like, hey, what should we watch? And I'm like, well, let me just pop onto Disney Plus. Let me see what they've got on there for old movies, because I was like, well, I want to watch something that maybe I watched when I was a little kid, and I want to show it to my daughter. Nobody else was around. They were all doing whatever. So I was like, yeah, let's just watch something. So I'm scrolling through, and I come upon a movie called Return to Oz. And if you guys have watched The Wizard of Oz, I love that movie, and I watched it when I was a little kid like a bazillion times, and I love The Wizard of Oz. However, The Return to Oz is atrocious. Probably one of the worst sequel movies that I've ever seen. But I did remember when I was a little kid, I kind of had this nightmare scene with one of the scenes from that movie. And I literally can remember waking up because it's got these headless heads like tucked into little cabinets. And inside the cabinets are all these heads of women, and they actually are alive and they watch you. Anyways, that was one of my nightmares apparently. But when I rewatched this movie, I actually still felt a little scared during that. So I'm just going to be open and honest with you guys. I was like, oh man, I'm having all these like PTSD moments come back to me. And I just was like, I hate this movie. But everything else in the movie was horrible. Like if you go back and watch that, you'll literally be saying, who thought up this? And one of the biggest questions for me was, why is Dorothy going back to Oz as like a 6-year-old? So in the normal movie, maybe she's 16, 17, maybe 15. And in the sequel, she's like 6. I don't get it. Anyway, tell me what you guys think. All right, well, I want you guys to go through what movies do you guys feel like are your favorite movies, and you're always telling people about them, like this was a great movie back in the day, and what movies do you think that your kids will be like, womp womp, mom and dad, you have no idea what you're talking about movies, so tell me what you guys think. Let me know what movies you guys feel like are going to be on that list. Once was great, and now it's trash. All right, this is episode 64. I'm TJ McLelland, broker of Fitness Realty. Let me know what you guys think. We'll see you.